Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? Last night I went to the new Wimbledon Theatre, which is my closest touring venue. I usually go there when I want to see touring productions. I want to see the new touring production of a show called Tonight's the Night, and this is the programme for it. Right, so Tonight's the Night is a musical that first became a musical in 2003, and it was written by the very well-known comedian Ben Elton, and it's got music by the very well-known Rod Stewart. It did a short stint in the West End from 2003 until 2004, I believe. He was actually at the Victoria Palace Theatre when he was here, which is where Billy Elliot is at right now. But yeah, since then I think there's just been a few touring productions of it, and that's it as far as I know. Now, I wasn't living in London in 2003, so obviously I didn't get to see the show back then. But ever since I heard about it, for some really weird reason I've always wanted to go and see it. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not a massive Rod Stewart fan. To be honest, I don't think I can even call myself a small Rod Stewart fan until yesterday, because before last night I hadn't really heard much of his music. I knew maybe 3 or 4 of his songs, but that was about it, and the songs that I did know by him weren't songs that I listened to on a regular basis. Like, I knew them, but I didn't listen to them by choice. But I've always been very curious about it. I think because it was at the Victoria Palace Theatre, and because I love Billy Elliot so much, I've been curious to find out more about the shows that used to be at that theatre. And also, one of my favourite performers used to be in the show when it first opened in the West End. Diane Pilkington, she was in Tonight's the Night when it opened in the West End. She was an original cast member for it, so yeah, I think that's what's made me really curious about it. Anyway, I went to see the show, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Honestly, I went in without any expectations, so I think that's why I enjoyed it. I think that's what you have to do with musicals like this, because, I mean, this is a jukebox musical, and for me personally, this was a jukebox musical with songs by an artist that I'm not too familiar with. So I really had no expectations. I just went in just to see what it was going to be about. Anyway, like most jukebox musicals, it does have a plot, even though it's not the best plot. It's centred around a guy called Stuart, but he's called Stu, and he's meant to be this very shy, tongue-tied guy who doesn't really know how to communicate with girls. There's a girl that he really likes, but he doesn't know how to tell her that. So one day he meets the devil is a character in the show, and asks the devil to help him somehow to become better and more confident. So then his soul is somehow changed for Rod Stewart's soul, and then he becomes Rod Stewart in a really weird way, or he thinks that he's Rod Stewart. And that gives him the confidence to do many things, including telling the girl that he likes her. Maybe. Or maybe not, that's really all I can say. But you can pretty much tell where the story goes from there. I mean, you pretty much go on an adventure with the guy Stewart and see what happens to him as he becomes more and more like Rod Stewart and thinks that he's Rod Stewart. Obviously that's going to affect the people around him, the girl that he likes, his friends, everybody gets affected by this in some way or another. And then by the end of the show, a lesson is learned, which I'm not going to mention, but yeah, it's a very obvious kind of story, but it doesn't matter. For a jukebox musical, I actually thought it was quite a good story, to be honest. Anyway, so Stuart was played by a guy called Ben Heathcote. I thought it was brilliant. He had an incredible voice, and his acting was great. He was just perfect for the role, really. In the scenes where he was like rocking out, he was incredibly believable, and I just enjoyed his performance. I thought it was great. The girl, Stuart's love interest, is called Mary, and she was played by Jenna Lee James. She was great as well. Her voice was stunning. I mean, wow, what a powerhouse. Incredible voice, seriously, I loved it. She was great. Her acting was also very good. I mean, there were some scenes in which she, like, I don't know, it just looked like she was definitely crying, and I loved that. I thought she gave a very genuine performance. Jay Dewan is in this. If you remember the Sugababes, the girl band Sugababes, she used to be one of the members of that band, one of the very many members of that band. She also was on Eurovision a few years ago, and she did very well in that. Anyway, she plays one of the side characters in the show, I think one of the friends of Stuart and Mary. She was outstanding. Honestly, her voice is just wow. She's got a very beautiful voice. I mean, Mary's voice is very powerful, but like Jay's voice was just beautiful, if you get what I mean. Like, I could have listened to her for a long time. It was amazing, it was stunning. Yeah, I really loved her in that. Apparently she's played Nala in The Lion King as well. I'm just looking at her credits here, theatre credits. But yeah, she was great. I'd seen her with the Sugababes once maybe, I think, back in 2008. And it was nice to see her in something a lot more, I don't know, serious, if that's the word. Just something that gives her more to do, and, you know, acting and singing at the same time, and she definitely got to show her vocal range, and I thought she was great. Everybody loved her in the audience. I think everybody thought that she was probably one of the highlights in the show. One of the characters is called Stoner. He was played by a guy called Michael McKell. That's a great name, isn't it? Yeah, he was great. He was really funny. He's meant to be like kind of this camp, funny character that always makes jokes, and the audience seemed to absolutely love him. I found some of his jokes quite funny, but I didn't find him as funny as everybody else did. But he was very good. He had a great voice as well. So yeah, that's Stoner's character. The Devil is played by Tiffany Graves. Tiffany Graves is a performer that I'd seen in Sweet Charity, I believe, back in 2010. It was great to see her in this. I thought she was great. Her voice is amazing. She's a great actress overall. She also plays Baby Jane, and she's quite a good partner, I suppose, for Stoner's character. I thought they worked really well together, and they were funny, both of them. The last person I'm going to mention in the cast is the character of Rocky, and he was played by Andy Reese. I loved him. I thought, for me, actually, he probably gave the best performance of the night. His acting especially, I thought, was incredibly genuine, very, very believable. And yeah, I loved him. I couldn't stop watching him when he was on stage, and his voice as well was really good. So yeah, that's the cast. Overall it was a really good cast, and it looked like they were all really enjoying it as well, including the ensemble members. I mean, how can you not? The music is so good that you just, if you're in a show like this, a rock and roll show like this, you're gonna have to love it, and it really showed on the cast faces. Anyway, the sets were good for a touring show. I thought they were really good. I mean, they could have been West End sets in my opinion. Not incredible sets, not like, oh my god, wow, I've never seen sets like this before, but they were good sets, and yeah, I loved them, I enjoyed them. I didn't think they were tacky or anything, they were great. The music is obviously great. Like I said, I personally didn't know much about Rod Stewart's music before I went to see the show. Like, I only knew maybe about 2 or 3 songs of his, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the songs, even the songs that I didn't know I enjoyed, because you know, it's a kind of music that I enjoy anyway. The kind of rock and roll music of that era, I liked it. But if you definitely know that you don't like that kind of music, then obviously don't go and see the show, because it's only his music. So yeah, one of my favourite songs in the show is probably Stay With Me. That's a song that I actually knew before I went to see the show, and they sing it a couple of times in the show, and I thought that was great. Also, Tonight's the Night is a song that obviously they sing in the show that was also done very well. Yeah, there's even some songs in the show that you may think you don't know, but then when you listen to them you're like, wow, I actually recognise those. So yeah, I mean, Rod Stewart was a very famous, very well-known, successful artist, so even if you think you don't know his songs, when you hear them, you'll probably recognise some of them at least. The choreography, I thought, was excellent. It was done by Denise Ranger, and honestly, it was amazing to watch. All of them were fantastic dancers, and the choreography was just really energetic and fun. There was one number in particular, I think it was in Act 2, and it was this kind of cowboy dance, which I really, really enjoyed. It was definitely one of my personal highlights from the whole show. Also, at the end, well, actually, in the interval, there was one guy who kept distributing hats to people, hats like this one, and I was very confused. I was like, why are they giving you these? And I just didn't know what to do with it, really. But then I realised that at the end of the show, because there's obviously a few songs at the end, everybody's up on their feet. And yeah, at the end of the show, they sang a song called Sailing or something, which is one of Rod Stewart's songs. And then everybody in the audience put their hats on, their sailors' hats on, which I'm going to put on for you now. I look ridiculous, I know, but what the hell. So yeah, I actually thought that was really cool, because I looked behind me, I was really close to the stage, and I looked behind me and everybody had these hats on, and it was a really cool thing to add to the show, to make the audience feel more a part of the show, and just to make the show more fun in a way. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't really know what to say about it. It's going on tour. I think New Wimbledon was the first venue of this new tour. It's going everywhere, so again I'll put the link for the show and the tour in the description thing below. Oh god, this hat's falling off. If you just want a really fun musical, if you like rock and roll music, if you like Rod Stewart's music, and if you just want a really fun show, if it comes near you, then go and see it. It's not an incredible musical, it's nothing that I've not seen before, but it was fun and my hat just fell. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope you do too if you go and see it, and do let me know what you think of it if you have seen it. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!